Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.
All right.
Welcome back to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Ric Davis. I urge you to follow me on social media on Facebook and Instagram at Prime Real Estate Ric. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in commercial or residential real estate here in the greater Houston area or anywhere in the great state of Texas, please stop by our website at brooksanddavis.com. And as always, if you're looking for the best in men's and women's hats and fedoras as well as designer sunglasses, please visit our other sponsor at shopelitestyle.com. I welcome everyone to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I hope everyone's having a blessed Thursday. As always, my co-host is not only a renowned author, he's a real estate broker here in the great state of Texas and is known the worldwide as the Texas Real Estate King. As always, I would like to introduce to the Prime Real Estate Network audience my co-host, Mr. Larry W. Brooks.
What's going on, Ric D?
How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm happy. I'm happy, man. What can I say? It's been a busy Thursday. I just came from our Fort Bend luncheon that I do with HAR. Alicia Jammer is our president over there, so had an opportunity. And, you know, she's been a guest on the show a few times.
Co-host when you travel in the globe. And she makes sure I don't have an empty seat over there, so I want to give a shout-out to Miss Jammer.
Yeah, man. It's funny because I'm always, because of the date that we do this podcast, I'm usually in and out of the meeting over there, so I'm super early to help with the setup.
Right.
And then I'm booking it on the Beltway to get over here in time. So, but things are good, man. I have no complaints, man. The market is moving, and you know, people are still buying, people still selling. And today we have some amazing guests on the show, some personal friends of mine, man, that are doing big things in this industry. That when my motivation is down, I click on their page and I'm like, oh, it's time to get up and get it.
Hey, man,
it's time to get up and get it.
I know you don't like to toot your own horn, but I want to make sure I publicly give you a bit of props. I've noticed some of the efforts you've gone to help the kids with their back to school supplies.
Oh yeah,
that's something that you do every year around this time, and I want to congratulate you publicly and let you know that's something that is very much appreciated.
Yeah,
and that I think as business professionals and entrepreneurs, we got to keep our eye towards the youth and make sure that anything we can contribute from that standpoint, because as small as it may seem to us, for them it is absolutely essential as far as achieving their educational goals. So I want to make sure I publicly tell you, sir, that's a great thing.
Man, let me add to that, man. It's so amazing because I was that kid. Like literally, my grandmother couldn't afford to get those type of supplies for us, so we had to go to the church, and whatever people had donated, that was our opportunity to have school supplies. So if it was one pencil and then one pen, then that was it. But if it was 2 or 3 different items we had, I was blessed to use those items to get me through my first few weeks of school. So the things that I do now are the things that I needed when I was a kid. So I know what that goes towards. I know what that impacts.
I know, absolutely. I just want to make sure we let you know to continue to work,
Great
brother,
job.
and it's definitely appreciated.
Yeah, and let me,
Great job.
matter of fact, one of the locations that was doing a lot of pickup, the T-shirt shop, a good friend that I grew up with, man. He's still off of MLK.
Yeah.
He's back giving
I've
to the
been there
community.
before.
He has it's called a T-shirt shop out there, man, and they're doing great things. So
I know, great guy. I've had an opportunity to meet that gentleman, a fine gentleman. Definitely an entrepreneur
No
to
doubt
keep an
about it.
eye on.
Yes, sir.
The T-shirt spot has been a very successful business for a while now. And people like yourself frequenting the business, people like myself talking about it on this podcast, because we always like to support, especially those minority-owned businesses here in the greater Houston area.
No doubt, man. Shout out Danger and Cabbage. Yeah.
Absolutely. We have a great episode lined up for all of our viewers today. Today's episode is entitled, It's a SALE-a-bration, because today we have some of the highest producing, most successful business people and entrepreneurs anywhere in the greater Houston area. Our first guest is not only the broker, but also the owner of Legacy Homes and Properties. This gentleman has been successful in real estate for the last decade. He's working with all types of great clients, and he has a great team that does great jobs of making sure that they can achieve and produce and make sure they serve the community proudly. So I would like to introduce to the Prime Real Estate Network audience the broker and owner of Legacy Homes and Properties, Mr. Derek Boles.
Hello, everybody. Great to be here. Oh, we got a clap and everything.
We like to make sure our important people feel important in this thing, man.
All right.
Yes.
But it's great to be here, Mr. Davis, Mr. Brooks. I appreciate the invite. Of course, we all have busy weeks. We all have stuff going on, but it's always great to sit down with like-minded people, bounce some ideas off each other, kind of share some things with the public, what we have going on. And happy to be here, man. Let's get it going. It's a little hot outside, but
Absolutely.
I'm a little shiny
We're cool
today.
in here
you know?
today.
I want to thank you for carving some time out your
want some of my
schedule,
powder?
brother, man. I know how it is, especially when you're running such a successful real estate brand like yourself.
Yes, sir.
Especially on Thursdays. I know we all like to get our closings done on Thursday so they don't drift into Friday.
because Friday turns into Monday. And
You
then
already
you
know.
got some people that's hurt.
Absolutely. So I want to
Yes.
thank you for stopping in today, sir. Our second guest is a renowned author, public speaker, sales trainer, and sales champion. She is author of some great sales manuals that I think any aspiring and current business person and entrepreneur has to read. So I would like to introduce to the Prime Real Estate Network audience, Ms. Joyce Johnson.
Thank you, Rick. Yes, I am Joyce Johnson, as I say, author, speaker, sales champion, and coach. You guys know that my passion is with the college students and really educating them, training them, and their family peers and new salespeople on sales and what it is and how sales can really impact their lives for the better. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've all sat here and talked about our stories with sales, and we're graduating from college and what have you, not really understanding what it was, and our family not being able to coach us and tell us what it was and how to take advantage of the opportunity in the profession. So my goal is to just educate the masses, right?
Absolutely.
On sales, what it is, how you can take those transferable skills that you've learned in college, on the football field, on the basketball court, what have you, and go out and be successful.
And you know, the thing about what you're doing that's so invaluable, and we talked a little bit about this
Yes.
before taping, is that I think a lot of students don't understand how lucrative
Yes,
being
absolutely.
in the field of sales can be. A lot of times when you graduate, you get those entry-level professional positions where you
Yes.
may start off on the lower end of the pay scale.
Yes.
But when you're in the sales position, the whatever end of the pay scale you end up on is where you decide to be.
Where you decide to be.
So my first question for you is, because we talked about you being a renowned author, can we talk about a couple of the books you brought in today?
So I brought in a couple of my books with me today. One is Why Sales for College Students. Again, educating college students on what sales is, but, addressing the myths in sales, right? And really helping them to understand, again, their transferable skills that they can ask themselves and say, yeah, I can do this. I can go into sales. Talking to them about how you get paid in sales, what the expectations are, et cetera. Both of these books I gear towards college, but anyone who's interested
Absolutely.
can read these books and learn from them. And the other one is Top 10 Sales Tips for College Grads. Again, we talked about we're tied up and showing up with just their ID and their Social Security card. I need you to show up with a plan. And in this book,
Absolutely.
right? What you gonna do when you get here, right?
Right.
So in this book, I talk about how to write a plan, right? And I give them a day-to-day plan on how they can write it out so that they can go and execute, right? Because a lot of sales is about getting up, showing up, and following up.
Absolutely.
Right, and so I give them some great tips and information on how to go out there and be successful in their sales life. I do have another book, 5 Things You Need to Know to Get a Job Today. That's about the interviewing skills, because I also want them to know how to show up in an interview, because a lot of times they aren't getting that in-depth training in that space as well. So I give that out as a free ebook. And then finally, I have a new writing partner, Nicholas Williams. We're writing to finish up my other book, Why Sales for College Athletes. And we're going to do a lot of marketing on that and talking, and we're going to let people into the room while we're writing it late at night and things.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about that one, because athletes have something special that a lot of franchises and different people go after, but they have a lot of really great things that they learn as being a part of a team and sport that they can transfer into the sales world. And a lot of athletes are very successful in sales.
Maybe that's why I'm pretty good at
Hey,
That's
man,
why.
look, I think,
I played a little ball in my
That's
day.
it.
I was 50 pounds smaller then, but I played a little ball back
it.
then, so maybe that's
hey,
part of
Derek. I was thinking the same thing, man. Look here, that might be why we do what we do.
why
That's why you do what you do. Because you have that
Rick did a little bit of track in his days too, so he
Does
might.
that count?
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Oh, no, he did not, Rick.
I'm
Yes.
teasing. I'm teasing.
But that's it, because you have that competitive spirit. You have that commitment to stick with
course.
it, right?
Of course.
In the good and the bad, win, lose, or draw, you guys
course.
get up and keep going,
course.
right? And that's what you need in sales as well.
Especially on the lose side, because that happens.
Yeah.
Especially
No,
on the entrepreneur side, you're going to have every day isn't a win.
Every day.
you know?
Right.
And I wanted to
we've
talk to you
learned how
about
take
that,
them.
Derek,
Every day
because
you
this is
hustling.
one of the questions I wanted to ask you, Mr. Boles, is that when you're building your team,
Correct.
what are some of the things you talk about with your new agents?
Okay.
As far as being productive, getting out there and getting that sales mentality and getting that mindset to go out there and conquer
Okay.
on a daily basis. Because I know it can be tough when you're new.
Definitely. And one thing that I try to do is I try to set realistic expectations for them in the beginning. Like, look, none of us got here overnight. None of it didn't happen in a weekend. It didn't happen in a month. It didn't happen in a couple months, So I say, look, it's something that we're going to have to stick with. However, you have what the people need. You have the knowledge. You have the skills that the people need that are not yet homeowners. You are the expert in the room in comparison to a first-time homeowner. So don't think that because you're not Larry Brooks yet, that shout out Larry
that.
Brooks.
Everybody can be Larry Brooks.
Don't
Everyone
think
can't
because
do
you're
it.
not there yet that
So-
you're not able to service your community, because a lot of these communities that we go into,
Are so underserved.
they're underserved completely. You ask them, well, how many real estate professionals do you know? They don't know any. They just know somebody knocked on their door and offered them a check.
Yeah.
Whereas if we go into River Oaks, well, they know 10 of them, or
Yeah.
10, 20 or whatever. And so as a new
Right.
agent, if you tap into the people that need you, then you can grow that way, and your future clientele is going to be the people that they refer you to. Do a great job for that individual, and you don't know how connected that individual is, and then we kind of grow from there. Okay, it's just like anything else. If I cut your hair the first time and I do a great job for you, you're coming back in 2 weeks.
That's right.
That's right.
And if I plug you, then you're gone. You're gone. You know what I mean? So
Don't plug
every
it.
client is just as important as the next, because you can't sell that house again, but you can work with the brothers and the sisters and the cousins and the church members and all that good stuff. So I just encourage them to stay motivated, encourage them to be patient, because if we sign up for the day job, we're there until we're 65.
That's right.
Right, that's absolutely
You
the
know,
case.
so if we sign up for our own business, it might take 5 years for it to get where you want it to go. It may take 6, 7, 8, but it's going to be shorter than what they want you to commit to at the day job. So give it some time,
Yeah.
stick with it, it'll pan out for
And
you.
just as a
Keep going.
follow-up, Mr. Bowles, when you're interviewing and meeting aspiring entrepreneurs and real
Correct.
estate pros, what personality traits do you look for
Okay.
as somebody who's been in the business and experienced?
I look for someone that has tenacity. I look for someone that has a passion for what we're doing. One of the questions that I ask my new salespeople is, do you want to sell real estate, or do you hate what you're doing now? There's a difference.
my
you know?
goodness.
Interesting question.
There's
Very
a
There is
difference.
a
Okay.
difference.
Very
There's a
interesting.
difference, you know?
I've
Dropping
had
them
that
nuggets.
conversation.
Yeah.
Because
that
'cause
conversation.
if you are just here because you don't want to do that, well, when this gets
Then let's
tough, you're
talk
going
about
to
it.
quit this just like you're quitting that. You
Yeah.
know,
Exactly.
and so this is something where you have to have a passion for it. You have to almost be somewhat Looney Tune, because in the beginning you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
So you're putting in the hours and you're not seeing the checks. So I want to
Yes.
know, is your motivation to do this, or are you just running from something? Because if you're just running from something, you're going to run from this
Ooh,
too.
that's fire.
You
that
certainly
guy.
gonna
Y'all-
run from that.
Y'all didn't hear that,
That's
man.
how I work.
Listen.
You know, I mentioned that under the hidden sales opportunities,
Okay.
right? In my book about why sales. There's jobs that are sales jobs, recruiting, real estate, loan officer, all those things that people don't see it. And they say, oh, I want to quit my job and I'm going to, I'm going to quit my job and I want to go into real estate. And I'm like, really?
Just,
You know?
yeah, just it's that easy.
Didn't you
It's a
tell-
buzzword out there
It's a
nowadays. That's how they
buzzword,
look at
like,
it. But yeah.
didn't you tell me you hate sales? Like,
Yeah.
that's a sales job,
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great question that you asked.
Yeah, and I'm going to date myself here for a second.
ahead, it's okay.
There's a line in one of the early Kanye. I know Kanye.
Now, mind y'all, he's young with no gray hair. He's talking about dating himself.
I pulled
Yeah.
him. I pulled
He said, I
But,
pulled him for the show.
But he made a comment. He said, "Do you want to lock yourself in a room doing 5 beats a day for 3 summers?" And that's something where he's like, "Look, I'm here and I'm doing this. I'm not getting paid for it. Nobody knows my name, but I'm locked in a room and I'm doing this because I have a passion for it,
Yeah.
and it's going
Right.
to pan out at some point."
Yeah.
know?
Right.
And that's kind of how you have to look at it when you come into an entrepreneur space because,
right.
you know,
Look
whether
at
you're
it.
selling chicken, selling T-shirts, whether you're a daycare provider,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
they don't know who you are yet.
Yeah.
But you have to be willing to stick with it and cheerlead for yourself until
Yes,
they
sir.
do know who you are. You know, you have to
Yeah.
build your own buzz.
Yeah.
And then you'll be turkey leg cut. And then it
No
go from
doubt-
there.
no
Shout
doubt
out
about it.
turkey leg cut.
Shout out Turkey Leg Good, man. Yeah.
Shout out Turkey Leg.
Because as a follow-up, and I wanted to ask you this, Miss Johnson, because
Yes.
all the traits that Mr. Boles just talked about that he looks for when he's interviewing young people,
Yes.
those are the traits that I think so many athletes inherently have. That stick-to-itiveness, that tenacity. But when you're in college and you're actually competing, you kind of undervalue those traits about yourself because you feel
They
like,
do.
well, every ball player has that
Every
in
ball
them.
player has it, yeah.
But you don't understand how transferable that is in the workplace. How often do you have to bring these traits to light for somebody who doesn't even know that they have these kind of strengths within them already?
Great question. I have a lot of people come to me and ask for mentorship and coaching and things of that nature in the workplace, outside the workplace. And, I talk to them about that. Where are you pulling from? Why sales for you? Where are you pulling from? Because we got to dig deep sometimes and bring it out. And I talk to people about their background and what they've done so I can learn and hear things about them, whether it's a personal struggle at home or in the workplace or on the field. What got you to sales? And then let's try to pull from that. Because a lot of athletes, and you'll see this in the book when it says lights out is the first part of the book, right? Once they get off that court or that field or what have you, it's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so it goes from being the big man on campus to trying to figure out how to stay the big man on campus.
Yeah.
But you're on a different playing field. You're on a playing field of life now,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And so they struggle with that. And so then some insecurities come in. They kind of forget all those things that they forgot that they had that made them that dominant on the court or the field or, wherever they were.
That's right.
And so I try to talk to them about that and just pull that out.
Because, there's so many questions that I have for both of you all. And we're going to take a short break. But when we
Okay,
come back, I
let's
want
do
to
it.
talk to you both about your motivation, what motivated you both to work so hard,
Yes.
and what inspires you now and what inspired you in the past.
Okay.
So I would really appreciate you guys going into a little depth when we get back.
Okay, we'll give it to you.
Cool.
Thank you so much. Everyone, we're going to take a short break to hear from our sponsors, but please stay tuned to the Prime Real Estate Network. This is Rick Davis, realtor and host of the Prime Real Estate Network. Are you currently leasing or looking to relocate to the Houston area and you find yourself falling in love with a home but aren't quite in a position to purchase? Well, no worries. We offer the Right to Purchase program. We can place you in the home of your dreams at current market rental rates and give you up to 3 years to buy. Did you know that a majority of the homes that are for sale offer better quality than those that are for rent? So why wait? Don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. Let me and my team help you purchase a home that you and your family can fall in love with. Give me a call today at 832-928-3963 and remember to follow the Prime Real Estate Network podcast on YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Be blessed. Welcome back to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Rick Davis. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, stop by our website at brooksanddavis.com. As always, my co-host is not only a world-renowned author, entrepreneur, real estate broker, but he's known worldwide as the Texas Real Estate King. As always, in the co-captain's chair holding it down is Mr. Larry W. Brooks.
Hey, you know what? Y'all gonna have to subscribe to the YouTube page so y'all can see some of the antics. Like right now, those of you that are listening, on Spotify and the Google Play and
Yes.
things like that, y'all are missing the visual things that you need.
That's right.
If
That's
y'all
right.
can see my man DB or Daryl's tie right now, Derek's tie right now, you'll be exactly what I mean, man.
Sometimes you got to put the flower tie on, man.
Hey, man, it's clean, man.
Yes.
So if y'all see me with that, just know it wasn't borrowed. It wasn't borrowed.
Oh, man. Thank you for sitting in with us this week, Larry, as always. Our guest this week, and we've been having a great time with him, is Miss Joyce Johnson, author, speaker, sales champion, and sales consultant, and Mr. Derek Boles, the broker owner of Legacy Homes and Property, LLC. I want to thank you all for sitting in with us this week.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for having us.
Before our break, we talked a lot about being able to inspire and motivate the people that we come in contact with to achieve goals and goal setting. But I want to speak to each of you a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and what inspires and motivates you. And for you first, Miss Johnson, when you think back to your upbringing, was there any members of your family, immediate family, or confidants who were entrepreneurs and business people that might have lit the spark in you to be such a great writer and sales consultant and coach?
Well, I tell you, no, not so much as business owners, but very hardworking family, right? And my family is the thing. One thing you or the only thing you have to do in our family is be a good person, right? And be good to others. Have faith in those something greater than yourself, and give back to community, right? So that's what I was brought up on. And so being able to see my mom and my aunts, and we call them the aunties. There's 4 of them, the 4 sisters, and work and how they bring it. We have some big shoes to fill, right? And either you're gonna step up and fill them, or they're gonna make you step up and fill them. Right. So it's like, to whom much is given, much is expected. That's right. And you continue to find a way that you can have that give back. My mother and my aunts, they're all retired right now, and they all volunteer somewhere, right? They're either volunteering, giving back to young people. They're at the rallies that's taking place in Galveston right now. They're on the church boards. They're at the housing meetings, making sure housing gets back because they know that other people can't make the meetings. My mother's at the school board meetings because she know the other mothers have to work and they can't go and fight for their kids. Mm-hmm. And if she can't be there, she call up 10 other people to make sure they're going to go. So that way, at least a couple people going to show up. Yeah. And so that's what I grew up on, seeing that, even seeing it now, and knowing the importance of the give back, right?
Absolutely.
And you're going to receive it.
From what you describe, it seems like you took that gift of being able to lead and mentor from them as well.
Absolutely.
Because they always say apples don't fall too far from trees.
They don't fall too far
from
trees.
And that's why Larry and I feel like it's really important to ask all our guests that question.
I ran away from my tree, y'all, just FYI. I ran away.
You ran away.
Tree.
And Larry, just like you with your grandmother, I grew up in that era, like we say, we dating ourselves. You grew up in that era where, you go to Big Mama's house, or to your other grandmother's house. And, it's a lot of people to keep you in check. Yeah, and growing up in Galveston, a small community, if you end up on a block you weren't supposed to be, someone may call your mom and say, "Did you know that Joyce was over here?" Mm-hmm. So just continue to be inspired by my family, what they bring to us, how hard they work for us to be able to have and to grow. My mother's always pushed education. And, and all 3 of us actually went off to college and graduated. And, and so she tells us almost every day that she's proud of us and sent us texts. Mommy loves you, we're proud. And so that's what I pull from. That's my inspiration. When my aunts look at me and my mom, I want them to feel that they're proud, right, of what I do. And when my nieces look at me, I want them to feel the same way.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask you this too, Derek, because I know Larry and I both have friends, teammates, business partners that tune in, and there's people who've known us for a really long time. I work with some young people, and I'm not always dressed as formally when I'm working with them as I am on the pod.
Yes.
And I know a lot of times they're always like, "Man, Rick, you're so different on the pod than when you hang out and speak with us." And I want to ask you this question, Derek, because I think it'll be a great example of how you've evolved as an entrepreneur and a businessman. Okay. Can you speak a little bit about any inspiration that you drew from or anyone who motivated you on your path?
Okay. So a little bit about the backstory. So my mother, gorgeous lady, just turned 70 years old. Graduated high school at 16. Yeah. 16 years old. Valedictorian at 16.
Absolutely.
Right.
Congratulations.
Yes.
And
some tough shoes to follow.
Yeah,
right.
I'm telling you,
Right. Are you
selling? And she went to work, took a job, stayed there till she's 65, right? And nothing wrong with it. God bless it, because she had to take care of us. And when I went off to school, and I was around a different kind of demographic than what I grew up around. Without getting into specifics, it was a different kind of life. And so now I'm seeing people, and they're living different. Their setup is different. They watch their parents run businesses, and we watched our parents go to work.
Yeah.
And so what hits my mind is, well, the same God that made you made me. You know what I mean? And so why not me? Why not us? Why not our part of town? Why not?
Why not?
And I wasn't going to see those things take place and not think that we were disqualified for some reason. So I'm like, well, if it's possible to be done, because I'm seeing it now, because sometimes we don't know what's possible that we don't see.
Absolutely.
When we had career fair in elementary school, it was a policeman, a fireman, and something else that came.
The teacher,
So we didn't see the man that had a chain of laundromats. We didn't see the man that had a chain of restaurants. We didn't see that. I'm sure he was there somewhere, but he wasn't exposed to it. He wasn't in North Shore when we had career day. And so then when I went off to school and I saw, these kids that I'm in school with, they're living different, they're seeing different. I said, well, I would like to show my children different. I would like to show an example to them, like I'm seeing that can be possible. Yeah. And so that's why I made the step and made the leap, and I did different stuff. I mean, I've always had some sales in my blood. I sold pencils in kindergarten. It was
getting after it.
Real,
Getting after
it. I did some promotions here in the city, downtown for a little while, and then got into real estate. But the point is, my children see Daddy get up and go to work and take care of his business and take care of his company. And so they might decide to go to school and get a job. They have that option. Yeah. But the difference is they will know they have other options now.
That's right.
And a lot of our young people, they don't know that the other options are available. They don't know that I can carve my own path. Yeah. They don't know that I can have my own empire and grow it from there. They think that they have to go and set up shop under somebody else. Different strokes for different folks, but we want to show that example as much as possible, because why not us?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. The change of what what difference a generational change make, right? Because the generation before, and before integration, won't get that deep into that, but we were black business owners, right? So I can remember a black man owning the dry cleaners and the washing place, and the corner stores and the liquor stores and the halls where you had the parties and things of that nature, right? But I do believe that we have to begin to create jobs for our children and our families, especially now. The power of now. The time is now. Yeah. The power of diversity right now, the power of the social media and the internet and the things that can bring and help us market and let people know, yes, we are intelligent or what have you. We got to do it now.
Yep. The thing that's so amazing, and I want to thank both of you all for sitting in today. The thing that's really uplifting for Larry and myself is how often we get instant messages, DMs about our guests. And I have no doubt that we'll be flooded with questions and things that I should have asked you all. People always shoot me questions.
Never enough time.
They always shoot me questions.
You can still ask me. They can DM me. What have you.
And that's what I want to do. I want to start with you, Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Anyone who hears this episode or views this episode of the podcast, how can they get in contact with you? Do you have anything coming up in the near future where people may be able to meet and interact with you personally?
Well, I'm very active, as Larry is, in National Sales Network, right? And we started a small business forum 3 years ago to really help the entrepreneurs in that organization. And so we're working on that right now. We don't have our concrete date, but I absolutely will be there. Our partners is Houston Community College and Houston OBO, Office of Business of Opportunity. So I will be there. Last year, somehow I ended up being the AV person, right? Because you got to do whatever you got to do when you're doing something, right, to make sure it's successful. But I will be doing that. They can follow me on social media, of course, that I am Joyce Johnson. I do sales tips of the day, Monday through Thursday. Okay. I have my podcast with the college students. Let's talk about it with Joyce Johnson, #college life. And info at I am Joyce Johnson. Reach out to me. I respond to people all the time. If there's something you want to ask me, I'll probably put it in a sales tip and put it out there that next day, real time.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
You
reach
do a
out.
lot. Thank
Reach
you so
out all
much.
the time.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Everybody follow Miss Johnson and Mr. Boles.
Yes, sir.
What do you have coming up in the near future, sir, where I can interact with you personally?
So myself and my team, we have another home buyers workshop coming up. We try to do those periodically throughout the year. So for everyone that wants to be in a home by the end of the year, you need to come in September. Labor Day weekend, September 1st, go be in Pearland, Texas. And you can contact me at dbolesrealestate@gmail.com to RSVP, and then we'll sit down and kind of give you the blueprint so we can make sure we get you in that house before Santa Claus comes.
Look, if you are renting,
You can't
now,
start in December. It's too
The
late.
house
No.
will be Santa Claus.
If
Santa
you
Claus
are
will wrap it
renting,
up.
take
Yes.
advantage of the opportunity to sit down with true professionals so that they can give you a playbook on how to achieve the goal of home ownership.
Yeah.
And as always, Mr. Brooks.
Man, I'll be out and about. Y'all follow me on
Everywhere.
Follow me. You'll figure it out. But man, I want to thank you, Joyce, for coming on. You've been a personal friend of mine for years, many years, over 10 plus years.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Derek, man, it's a pleasure to have you on the platform, man. I follow you all the time. I love your energy. I love the way your team surrounds you and getting the knowledge that you guys continue to give out, man. So by all means, continue to grow. And if I can ever be assistance to you, I want you to feel free to reach out to me for whatever
I
reason.
need a workout partner, man.
I reached out to you. I text you. I'm like, Larry, when are you having me on your podcast? And when are you having me come in and talk to your salespeople?
No doubt, no doubt.
Next thing
That's
you know,
what
I'm
we
getting the
build.
checks.
I need
When
people
can
to
you
know
go?
that we work together, like we can build together.
Yes.
Like this is not it's enough out there for everyone. People, take my word
Thank
for
you,
it.
man.
Houston's a big
Yes.
city. Big city.
I want to thank our
And
guests,
small.
man.
Big and small.
On behalf of myself, Mr. Larry W. Brooks, and the team at Brooks and Davis Real Estate, I want to thank our guests, Miss Joyce Johnson and Mr. Derek Boles, for sitting in. If you guys would ever like another opportunity to sit in, the door is always open to you all.
Thank you.
From time to time, we have to
Thank
send
you.
Mr. Brooks on assignment. So if we ever reach out to you for a
King, man.
co-hosting
King gotta
opportunity,
go.
I would love to co-host.
oh my God, I would love to have you. So I want to thank everyone for tuning into the Prime Real Estate Network podcast this week. We'll be back next Thursday. On behalf of myself, Mr. Larry W. Brooks, and our guests, I want to thank you for tuning in. We'll see you all next week, and be blessed.
Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC is marketing a property for sale right now that you can buy. These properties range from land lots for under $20,000 to move-in ready homes $500,000 and more, along with everything in between. To see this week's list of properties for sale you can buy now, go to bit.ly/BDREF weekly list. That's bit.ly/BDREF weekly list. If you plan on selling some real estate and you need it on the weekly list, call 713-665-8329 to speak with someone about it.